Okay. All right. Welcome into episode 2 of Beyond the Podium. I am joined here with Tippecanoe, now graduate, Landon Kimmel. Landon, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Doing great, doing great. Really excited to have you on. Second episode, first episode, we had Bennett Lehman from Ansonia, another kind of Southwest Ohio runner. Now we're moving on to you, multiple time state champ. But before we start talking about races, before we talk about track, cross, all those things, I kind of want to get to know you. I want people to know you outside of just your times that they see or like a picture they see from you. So for someone who only knows you as a runner, how would you describe who like Landon Kimmel is just as a person?
I would hope, first and foremost, that I'm known for my faith. As a Christian, I grew up I grew up in a church. I'm trying to make sure that I stay that way my entire life. And I make sure that on Instagram in my post or on social media that I'm always, glorifying Christ in my posts. And I'm really, really, really hoping that if they know me for running, that they also know me as a warrior for Christ. I just hope that people know that I'm caring and I do care. And usually when people reach out to me, I'm always able to respond. I'm not someone that's just like not caring. I do care
Yeah.
about my friends and family and people, and I do appreciate the love and support that I've gotten. But I really just hope it's like those two things. Like I'm a family man, Christian, and I love getting to know people. Those kind of things.
That's awesome. Okay, so that's awesome about your faith. So beyond what you're looking at, what do you enjoy doing outside of running? Because if we all know, especially as runners, if you only run, I mean, running only takes what a certain part of your day. You still have a full other part of your day. What are things outside of running that you like to do?
Yeah, so this might not probably not a big shocker. I'm a gamer. I do like to play video games with my friends. I just recently got into disc golf. I'm not great at
Okay,
it. I'm pretty bad. Still trying to figure that out. There's a lot of stuff that goes into that. I love disc golf. Just spending time with my friends. I got a pretty simple thing going right now. I'm not working this summer because I want to enjoy my last summer before college.
yeah.
So a lot of it's just spending time with my friends and video games and a lot of disc golf too. And,
All right,
running's on the
so
side right now.
I have no idea disc golf. Like this to me is like so foreign to me. So explain to me disc golf. Like what do you like about it? What is fun about it?
So sometimes I do get a little upset when I play. So sometimes I don't know if I could say it's fun sometimes, but basically it's a little bit like golf. It's got some differences, but obviously there's most courses have 18 holes. Tips course does. I
Okay.
love Tips course. There's different types of disc, drivers, mid ranges, putters, and they have like stats to them like speed, glide, turn. There's a lot about it, but
Okay.
it's very similar. There's like pars. Most of them are par threes. I think the most is par five. And what I love about it most, just I get to be outdoors. And I
Okay.
feel like it's one of the only like physical, I'd say, activities that I can do that doesn't like put a lot of physical strain on my body.
Yeah,
Because
completely.
I've had a lot of injuries and a lot of it is like pelvic movement, which is there's a little bit of that, but it's not like I'm dead sprinting or I'm playing basketball or baseball or
Yep.
something like that, where I have to be moving pretty quick and sharp turns. It's a very, very relaxed sport, and it's one of the very few that I can do. And I can do with my friends and family, and just it's just a blast when we go out there, and it's so peaceful because there's usually not a lot of people out on the course. It's not super stressful.
Yeah. Okay. So you kind of mentioned it a little bit, but talk to me about some of your injuries. So many runners deal with injuries all the time, whether it's a tweaked thing or something like that. You've battled some major injuries and had to then come back from it, right? So you got really fast, extremely down there in the 1430s, right? So then you
Mm-hmm.
had injuries. How do you? There's two ways to it: physically and then mentally. Like so. First off, physically, how was that recovery process? How was that healing process like? And then talk to me about like mentally what the mental side of like dealing with an injury is.
Yeah, so physically, we'll rewind the clock to about sophomore year. I was training, because I really wanted to break 9. I was on the cusp because I had just come off a successful cross season where I had broken 15. I'm like, I think I can do it. We were doing a
Yeah.
good workout, and I had noticed some like pain and twinges, and it started to get really bad after a workout I did. And this was back when Jason Sawyer, if you're familiar with him, the Olympic
Okay.
trial marathon qualifier, he used to train
Yeah.
with me, And this was back that time, and I was just doing like the cool down with him. I'm like, I don't know if I can finish this. So I went in the doctors, and we found out I had a stress reaction in my pubic rami area.
Okay.
And I think a lot of that contributed to the excessive amount of core I was doing. I always believed that, like, in order to be a great runner, you had to have an extremely strong core. So I would
Yeah.
do these ridiculous workouts. Like I would do 10-minute planks and put
Jeez.
50 pounds of weight on my chest and do flutter kicks. And, it's no shocker that I got a stress reaction from
Correct.
that. But
When you overwork that area, it's
yeah,
going to respond in that way. And
yeah.
you weren't doing it out of like an ill will. You were doing it because you're like, I want to be the best, so I'm going to push myself to be the best.
hmm Yeah. And that's just ultimately what happened in that year. But mentally, it did take a toll. But honestly, it didn't really affect me as much because I was like, oh, I got 2 more years. Like, if I were to get injured, it'd be better
Yes.
now than later. And
Yep.
unfortunately, I bit those words. Unfortunately, because then next year, this is where like physically and mentally, it's like a huge increase on both sides
Yep.
because I was doing a workout, had been feeling a little bit of those twinges, and actually my junior year during cross, I was still feeling those twinges. I actually didn't feel 100%. I'd still have pain sometimes, and I actually wasn't able to do strides or speed work some days because it had hurt.
Wow.
But we worked a way around that. But in track, it was a super cold day. I remember that. It was like maybe 19 degrees. We were doing like 200 sprints. Um, and I was training with, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Dominic Lopez from Northmont. We were doing the workout
Okay.
together.
Yep.
Um,
Yes.
I just remember, coming home that night. I felt a little strange, but, it wasn't anything crazy. And the next day I was going on an unofficial visit to Butler, with, Noah Bontrager and Paul Van Loningham, and I couldn't get up the next day and I couldn't walk. And I was in like excruciating pain. Like it got worse over the night. And I'm like, what is going on? And, I couldn't walk. Had to be carried. I was on the couch for probably about 5 days. I just couldn't move. It was excruciating pain. I don't wish this pain on anybody. It is
Yeah.
awful what I went through. Physically, it was just brutal. I missed a lot of school. I had to do a lot of catching up, and my fitness dropped. I don't know where I was fitness-wise, but I was ready to go because I was gonna race Eli Ilg, that following week before I got hurt. And
Hmm.
then mentally, I think it just destroyed me, because I knew that there goes, my season and my chance to really prove myself after this last injury. And I think honestly, I don't think I'm feeling those effects anymore. But I think even this past track season, I was still feeling those effects. I just felt like that caused so much burnout because I'm like, I put in all this work and I've gotten hurt twice now. But a lot of it, came down to I just wasn't taking care of my body the way I was supposed to, not doing the right injury prevention. And I think a lot of athletes nowadays kind of skip that. And I think that's the biggest thing I want athletes and people that are watching this to understand is you got to take care of your body, before and after runs, and especially on workout days. I'm not saying frequent ice baths or what you got to do or cryotherapy or something like that. But you do got to make sure that you take care of your body because that killed me. And I think a lot of that senior year of cross, too, was just affected. My mindset was just affected. Like, oh man, I'm coming off of this injury, and I don't know what to do. That kind of killed me. I'm kind of worried that I'm gonna get hurt, and I actually ended up having to get 2 cortisone shots during
Oh
cross
my.
country. And I didn't get into shape, I don't think, until regionals, maybe conference. I just was not in great shape either because I started really training like late July. So I had like zero fitness and it was just, it was definitely a toll, but I just made sure all in all that I claimed to Christ and I make sure that I made him the center and, I trust his plan more than anything. And it just, because I lost a lot of college coaches, they saw that he got hurt
Yeah.
too. I'm like, see you later, and
Yep.
and that kind of thing. And that too, like, it crushed me because my dream when I was younger, I wanted to go to Oregon, and I had a
Yeah.
little bit of conversation with the Oregon coach, and then when he unfollowed me on Instagram after he found out I got hurt, it was just crushing. Um, but ultimately, I was able to find my home, and I was able to come back and work with injuries, and now definitely when I hit college, we're gonna do a lot more work on that and making
Talk to
sure
me
that I'm
about the Talk to me about the process with Tulsa. So you're committed to Tulsa, you're ready to roll.
mhm.
Talk to me about their coach, and then talk to me. There you go. Talk to me about what it is about their program. Talk to me about even some of the people you've met there. What intrigued you about Tulsa? What makes you really excited to go there?
So first off, they were the first college to reach out to me. Like literally like the first
Okay.
day junior year, like summer, they reached out. And they have a lot of success behind them too, and that like piqued my interest. And then slowly and surely more and more reached out. But the thing about Coach Goalie is he was consistent, right? He no matter what happened to me, he stayed consistent. He's like, this is what I'm going to offer you. I don't like after my junior cross country season, he's like, this is what I'm going to offer you. I do not care if you get faster in track. I know what you're capable of. And just like knowing that there's somebody out there that like he's like set in stone. Like even if I don't have the season, he's gonna give me this. And I just think that played a big part. And I know Coach Wyatt, he's great. He used to be at Oklahoma State and then moved to Tulsa. He's
Okay.
awesome too. Just an amazing guy. And going down there, I roomed with this guy named Levi Rowan, who was he just shot out of a cannon. He was great in high school, but now he's even crazy, like 13:30s in the 5K. And just getting to hang out with somebody that fast and just see he's
Yeah.
such a down to earth and cool guy. And I was just like, man, this might be my home. And going to watch a football game and soccer game and just seeing, the guys, they're on their best behavior,
Yeah.
but like even so now, like when I'm in the group chats with them and just like they just seem so cool to be around and funny, and they're making sure they're doing a good job making the freshmen involved. And um, unfortunately, the guys that I went on my official visit with, they didn't go commit there. They actually went to Iowa. Both of them went to Iowa State together. They're really cool too. But I ended up with three really cool guys. One of them I did race in high school named Luke Sievers, and my roommate's
Okay.
this guy from Texas who's very, very good. And I'm just really excited to get down there and hang out with them. And we have a really good group of guys. And yeah, I think just all those combined, I'm like, yeah, this sold me. Like there were other coaches that were offering similar amount. NC State really wanted me. But this, I just think like, I only went on one official visit when it was Tulsa, and I just felt like I think this is going to be my home. I love these guys, and I want to remain loyal to Coach. He's offering me this no matter what happens to me, and things like that just doesn't happen very often. I think loyalty plays a huge part in the college recruiting process, and just saying like, hey, even if I have a little like a twinge or something like there, or like even something as big as a stress
Yeah.
fracture, like they're still going to care about you, and I think that's why I called it my home.
That's awesome. That's really excited. I can tell you this from just a sports fan in Ohio. We're going to be watching you, and seeing how you do along this journey that you're going on. Like we're really excited to see you do this. Um,
Hmm.
let's go back to high school a little bit. Take me through that race your sophomore year, or excuse me, take me through that race where you went to the 1430s. That was sophomore year, right?
Junior year.
Sorry, excuse me, junior
You're
year
good.
cross country. And you went in that 1430s. Talk me through what that was like. Talk me through the game plan going into the race and then executing it. Like, and then as soon as you cross that finish line, tell me about like just the feeling that you had. You see the time on the clock. You're like, oh my gosh, I just did it. Talk to me about that race.
Yeah. So we'll go back a little bit. My junior year, we started pretty decent. We went out to Paynesville, ran like a 15-16, and then Trinity happened, and I got beat. And it was kind of a shocker. His name is Alex Bruns, and I love this guy to death, man. He is such a cool guy. But I kind of had like if you ever seen Cars 3, I kind of had like a Jackson Storm moment because he passed me in the race at Trinity and was like, hey, I watch your YouTube videos. And I was like, this guy's talking in the race, and then he blasts past me, runs a 14:39. And I'm like, this is a
Yeah.
Jackson Storm moment. And I think that ultimately after that, I'm like, okay, so this guy is from Ohio. I'm going to race him at state. I got time. I got time to get better, and we got to train. So I just worked my tail off. I worked I feel like I kind of went in that season a little bit lazy, like, I might have a pretty comfortable spot at the top or whatever. That was not the case at all. And I got humbled and I got my butt kicked. So I made sure that I trained hard, and, regionals went well. That was a good battle. And then state happened. And I knew that it was going to be between three guys. It was between Eli Ilg, Alex Bruns, and myself. And it was a really fun battle. And Ilg took it out really, really fast. And I think that's what kind of set it, because we came through the mile on about 4:31, which is ridiculous.
Jesus.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be fast. And I don't know. I still have never been in that good a shape in my life, because I came through on grass in a 4:31. I'm like, I could do this again. I felt great.
Mhm.
And I noticed coming around probably the 2 mile or maybe close, maybe like, let's say 1,800 meters into the race.
Okay.
I started clipping Eli's heels. Now, Alex was kind of behind. He liked to sit and kick. It's kind of the strategy a lot of the St. Xavier guys do. They like to sit back a little bit. So he was kind of a little bit behind And I knew that from previous races that he was going to come up later, so I was waiting on him. But Ilg, I started clipping his heels. I'm like, okay, I don't think he can hold this much longer. So we come around the 2, and then that's when Bruns caught up. And I'm like, I looked at Bruns said something like, "Oh, this might be like my 2 mile PR or something." He said something in the race. I'm like, bro. So
Yeah.
I looked at him and I said, I looked at him in the eyes and said, let's go. So we took off and we did pass Ilg. He ended up still finishing very, very good. I think 2 seconds faster he did the year prior. And then it was just Bruns and I. And I'm like, I want to beat him so badly because I don't want to repeat at Trinity here. And then it was
Uh-huh.
a hard fought battle. And I think that just we came to the hill, and I just remember that he actually surged. I'm like, oh, he's being aggressive. He doesn't normally like be this aggressive. So he surged up the hill. I sat behind him, and I think that just killed him. And that's where I was able to take the lead. And I kind of just went from there. And I just told myself on brain, he's right behind you. He's right behind you the entire time, even if he wasn't, just so that I would continue to speed
Yep.
up. And I think just coming
So
down the
what did you
straightaway,
pass him? Did you pass him coming down the hill, or was it right in that little area right after?
it was about at the top. So like right here, you just reach the top,
Okay,
and then
you
I
take
just
that little
passed.
left. Yep.
Yeah, I just passed him. And I just took off, and it wasn't really a sprint for me at the end because I was just so dead. But I
Yeah.
actually didn't know what I ran yet. I thought it was I knew it was in the 14:30s, but I didn't know if it was like 31 or 32. And then my coach came over and said, "You ran 14:32," and then the official came out, but it was pretty close to that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I just ran that. Because
Yeah.
I was worried about, not being able to beat my sophomore time my junior year. And like, did I peak too early or whatever? And I finally
Mm-hmm.
did it. And it could not have gone better, right? I just think that everything fell into place for me. It was perfect weather, like 0 wind. Eli took it out really fast, and Bruns kept me on pace. All of those things together is the reason why I was able to run the time that I did. And I'm just so happy and grateful that I got to be a part of the team and have, Everett made it to Everett Molenkamp ran, I think he was like 16:20 that race. We made it together. It was just so cool to hang out with him and be a part of a team like this and, have coaching staff that care and made sure we, everything went right well. And I have Coach Lentz and my dad, Coach Kimmel, and Coach Lieber to thank for that. And I was just so grateful. It was so awesome to be a part of that and run that time.
Talk to me about your experience at Tipp. So, I remember seeing something on Facebook saying how people were really celebrating your state championship. Talk to me about coming back in just the city of Tipp and even your program, some teammates that you have. Talk to me about what that was like, coming back and like celebrating that state championship.
Yeah. So the last 2 years, they have done a police escort for me because I've won, and that's just super cool because when I was younger, I looked up to Sam Wharton, and Sam Wharton was an absolute stud, and he kind of is what made Tippecanoe known. I think, and then Mitchell Pointer was after him, and he got a police escort. And when I came back, I was like, man, I really feel like Sam Wharton right now, and that was really really cool. Just seeing, I got a little emotional on the way home because my family, were there, and they brought my dog Vero, who's an Italian Greyhound, out, and they were like holding him up like Simba when I passed, and I just got really emotional. I'm like, man, this is just so awesome, just to see how many people love me and care about me, and because a lot of the times I think athletes just forget uh, is people. Their how much support is backing up them. A lot of times we just kind of get lost in the numbers, like, oh, look how fast this guy's going, or you're comparing yourself to others, and like you got to really sit back and like we got your back. The coaches got you. We're gonna get you where you need to go. And I just think that when I got to come back and have that honor, it was just so cool. And I love my little town. There's sometimes, I'd argue there's not much to do in Tipp City, but it is really cool to see the community get together and celebrate that. And I'm just so grateful that I got that opportunity. I thank God every day. Like, thank you so much for allowing me to use these gifts. And I want to hope I can glorify him. And it was cool because, last year our team had gone too. So I got to ride back with the team when we got escorted. And, I think that things could have gone a little better team wise. But just it's a lot. We had a lot of pressure on us. I think a lot the pressure got to us 100%. We still ran very very well, but I
Yeah.
think that we saw the projections, and we all kind of just got a little nervous and worried about that. And a lot of those guys, it was their first times running the state meet, and that just got to them. But beginning to ride back with them, and it's just like, hey guys, at the end of the day, we made it to state as a team,
Yeah.
and I think that really they really were able to acknowledge that, and it cheered them up a lot because a lot of them were pretty gloomy on the way back with just how they had performed, and it was just really really awesome to be with those guys.
Yeah, and to be able to share that with them.
Hmm.
So you look at a team like so when you look at the next generation of runners coming up, what would be some advice you give? So as a veteran high school runner now at this point, what
Hmm.
would be some advice you give to say a eighth grader or seventh grader who has some early success and is kind of like, oh, I kind of like the sport a little bit, and then they get into that freshman year? What advice would you give to someone young looking to be a cross country track runner?
Yeah, so I think number one is don't take the sport too seriously. Especially when you're younger, your body's going through a lot of changes. You don't want to push too hard too early. And I think that was one of the great things that we did at Tip when we were younger. We didn't push too hard too early. And I think a lot of these kids, I mean, you're looking now, just look nationally. Freshman year, the fastest guy in the country in track was a 906. And then this past year was 847. Kids are getting a lot faster. Kids are training a lot harder. Um, and it's cool to see, but I think what they're missing is that, like, you don't want to train too hard too early. And I think a lot of kids do that. So, like, you got to relax a little bit. You will get where you need to be. And I think that, college coaches are going to notice regardless. Like, if you're running that early, that's fine. But if you're running it junior year, that's fine too. Um, and I think that another thing is two words: mileage matters. To me, make sure you're doing a respectable amount of mileage for your grades. Usually we would do like freshmen 40, 45 or something like that. They would add 5 miles every year. You don't need to be doing 70 or 80 miles at any point in high school, in my opinion. Um, and especially not young, like freshman year. And I think a lot of
Yeah.
kids are starting to like see what Jackson Spencer did, where he would run a little bit higher mileage and like, oh, well, I got to do this too early. Like, no, 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 no. You do not need to do that. You have plenty of time to get your body where you need. You will end up at the place that will get you right college wise, and the coaches will help you. Just trust your coaches too. That's another one. Trust your coaches. Take care of your body. Make sure you're eating right. That's a big thing for me.
Yes.
I did not
Yes.
eat very well. Um, and I think that's another reason why I got hurt. I don't think I ate enough. And some people are like, well, if I eat too much, I'm going to get fat. You won't. I promise you, you're not. Just make sure you watch what you're eating. You don't want to be slamming hamburgers every day or something like that. But yeah, watch what you eat. And please, 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 if anything, the most important thing I want the future generation of runners to understand is take care of your body. I know coach might be boring you to death with these injury preventions, but you gotta do it. You are gonna put yourself at a risk of injury if you don't do what you're supposed to. And I fell victim of that. I got lazy, and look what happened. I couldn't walk for 5 days, and I lost all of these chances because of it. And you lose a lot of opportunities because you get lazy. And it's such a simple thing to do too. And also listen to your coaches too. Listen to your body. If you feel a twinge and you feel like it's hurting a little more than what it should be, tell your coaches. Don't brush it off because you will put yourself at risk of injury as well. So, if anything,
I'm
that's
going to
the
save
biggest
that. I'm
takeaway.
going to just save that clip right there. That is going to be just literally, I'm just going to show that to all athletes and just be like, watch that clip right there,
Yeah,
just so that they
100%.
understand that the coaches are not crazy when they're asking them to do a post run or to do some stretching and things like that.
Mm-hmm. 100%. I agree. That's the biggest thing. And I lost a lot of chances because of that. I didn't listen to coaches. And, I look back like, wow, that's such a stupid thing. Like the coach was 100% right. And I didn't want to admit it. I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. It takes too much time. I just want to go home or whatever. I don't know.
All right. Last question that I want to ask you about. When people look back at Landon Kimmel years from now and they talk about the times you ran or things like that, what do you hope they remember about the person, not just the runner?
I hope that people would consider me like a kind person. And, like this, besides like the running part, I hope, people see me for like who I was in my faith journey and, in that aspect too. And I'm, alongside the running part. Yeah. I hope people see me as the resiliency that I had, that they see that in me, and I was brave and I was bold and I was able to take, take risks sometimes in running, and a lot of people don't want to lead packs, and that kind of aspect. But I hope that just people see me as who I am in my faith, and you know, that sort of aspect, and that I was able to help people, and bring people closer to Christ through Instagram stories, or just talking to them, and they can see, like, at the end of the day, I am human too, right? I'm not this machine robot that is running these times. I am human, and I'm not much different from you in that aspect. In that I make mistakes, I get hurt, I get happy, I get sad, and that you can do incredible things with the body that God gave you. And I think that that's what people really need to understand, is that, like, I care, and that, like, you yourself can do amazing things. You just got to put your mind to it, and work towards it, and you will accomplish anything.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Landon.
Hmm.
Good luck at Tulsa. All of the state of Ohio is going to be cheering for you. We wish you the absolute best of luck, and thank you for everything you gave for high school sports the last how many years. And we're excited to see you move on to the collegiate level.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.